last year, you look marvelous. You didn't believe me last year, but it's true. And this year I'm going to prove it. Okay, well, I think we got a problem here. Somebody in the math department actually moved. Bigger news, however, is somebody in the English department didn't move. I guess we need to call the news media. Anyhow, I'll have this photograph for sale later when we leave through college. We're going to hear a lot today about branding. After all, our theme is it's a brand new day. And I didn't realize how seriously we're taking this until they insisted before I come out that I get branded. That's not on the agenda, but you can all look forward to it. I understand the nursing department is standing by to assist with the process. Anyhow, it is a serious issue. Every one of us at our desk, at our lectern, at our computer, at our phone, is presenting the college to the public and to one another, and most importantly to our students. And what we hear today about branding is going to be our guide for that. So let's get involved in listening very carefully, figuring out and talking to our colleagues, both where we work and in other parts of the college, what we're doing at our own stations and what we can help others do to put forward the best brand for this college to the community. Enough of my foolishness. There are others coming who are far better at it than I. First, however, we do have some words from some very important organization leaders. And I'd like to start by introducing Tia McCoy. We're here for the students, and Tia McCoy is our Student Government Association president this year. Tia?
My name is Tia McCoy, and I'm president of Student Government Association for this new academic year. I would just like to welcome back the faculty from their summer break and thank the staff for this entire summer, everything they've done to help hold the fort down. I look forward to working with all of you. I'm going to tell you about a few things that Student Activities has planned for this semester so that you know what all students are getting hyped about, and also in hopes that you'll also get involved. For the first week of school, to welcome the students, we're having student socials on the 21st and 22nd in the courtyard outside Griffin Hall, where we'll have a live DJ, free soft drinks for everyone, and a door prize drawing for 2 Busch Gardens day passes every hour. We'll also have planned an SGA open house at noon on Thursday, the 24th, in the SGA office so that students can meet their new SGA officers and share their ideas and concerns, and learn how they can become involved in student life here at TNCC. Fall Fest is tentatively planned for September 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Griffin Courtyard with lots of activities and live entertainment by Paul Clayton-Hall. Also, currently we're in the process of implementing an initiative to introduce an organization by the name of Virginia 21 to TNCC. Virginia 21 is an organization that was started a few years ago by students from Christopher Newport University to educate students on issues that affect them as a college student, such as textbook prices, tuition costs, and campus safety. Virginia 21 is completely nonpartisan and is strictly issue related. Its concerns are higher education initiatives, funding, economic development for a larger and more diverse workforce, and good government practices. Good government practices deal with issues of fairness and right and wrong, not Republican versus Democrat. Together with Virginia 21's allies in state legislature and business community, we're building a future for a commonwealth that we'll be proud to call our home. So I hope that all of you here today will not only attend our event, but encourage students to attend and to get involved. Thank you very much for your time.
do have an important oversight in the program, at least the one I received this morning. The next person you see will not be Tom Long. This will come as a surprise when you see her. This is, the next presentation is coming from the College Support Staff Association. And the president for the second year is Jerry Newsom.
Great morning to you all. I am so excited to begin this brand new semester. The College Support Staff Association held elections in June, and I am so very proud and honored to have been elected to represent you for another year. The new CSSA Executive Board has met several times, and we have developed some new and creative ideas for the staff. But without revealing too much, let me say that we believe you will be pleased. I look forward to seeing all of the staff at our meeting today. It will be informative and fun. As we get revved up to lead, guide, and instruct our students for this year, let us remember to encourage and support one another, the president, administration, and faculty. Please keep in mind a portion of the mission of TNCC is to prepare students for success. That does include staff. Thank you so much and enjoy today's activities.
All right, and next we're going to hear from the Faculty Senate. President this year is Tom Long.
Good morning, everyone. And on behalf of the Faculty Senate Executive Board, I want to welcome all faculty, staff, and administrators to the 2006-2007 academic year. By now, all faculty have received in their mailboxes a brochure that summarizes some of the basic principles of shared governance, and I certainly would urge all to take a few minutes to read that. We spent some time this summer drafting this and revising it and revising it and revising it, as only faculty can do. And we think that it outlines some of the important principles of shared governance, not only for faculty but for administrators as well. I also want to remind all of the full-time faculty that we will meet, all of us, all full-time faculty, in our first faculty forum meeting of the year. This is the meeting at which all full-time faculty have a vote. And we'll be meeting tomorrow afternoon in room 100 at 1:30. It's extremely important for everyone to be there because among other business items, we're going to vote on the newly revised Constitution. So it's very important for all full-time faculty to be there tomorrow. This is an auspicious year for us in a number of ways, both for the college and for the citizens of the Virginia Peninsula and for the citizens of Virginia. For the college, it's an auspicious year, in part because we have an extraordinary opportunity to shape and mold and teach new vice presidents. One that will create a legacy of the last many years. It's also an auspicious year for those of us on the peninsula in Virginia because it marks the 400th anniversary of the founding of the first permanent English-speaking settlement in North America, Jamestown. When I teach the Jamestown narratives in my Survey of American Lit class, it strikes me and my students that it's a story that begins with surviving and ultimately leads to thriving. And it was no guarantee that that little community would have survived. It also strikes me that this story of moving from surviving to thriving is also the story of our ancestors. It's the story of our slave ancestors. It's the story of our immigrant ancestors. It's also this story of moving from surviving to thriving is also the story of our students as well. And it's important for us to focus on that and to try to inspire and encourage them to move from merely day-to-day surviving to thriving in the long term. Let me just end on one final note, which is this. In academia, failure is measured in seismic terms. Earthquakes, aftershocks. Success is measured in glacial terms. And so I encourage us to keep our eyes not on the tremblers and the aftershocks, but to keep our eyes on the slow, inexorable progress of academic success. Look forward to working with all of you this year, and the Faculty Senate has an ambitious agenda for excellence that we'll be revealing to you tomorrow. Thank you and welcome back.
Aren't you really proud to be working with student leaders, support staff, and faculty like you're hearing from this morning? Well, if you follow sports, you know that one of the best things to do is to introduce a change-up into your routine, and certainly if you're in the classroom, that applies as well. So we're not going to hear from somebody in particular right now. We're going to hear a videotape and see a videotape that's been introduced into the program as well. We'll start with that now. So many different lives in different ways at this college, and who we are and what we do. Follow through with my sports illusion a second ago. Not only do you need a change-up every so often, you need a general manager to give you the direction. And it's my serious pleasure to introduce to you our general manager, our coach, our guide, President Charles A. Taylor.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Brand new day. I want to welcome everyone back and welcome everyone to a new semester and a new year. And again, brand, emphasizing brand. When Mike Bruno was talking about people who are going to stand up here and probably make fools of themselves, he might have been referring to me, but I'm not going to necessarily go in that direction too much today. But they told me to keep it upbeat and light, but also to share some things about this semester and this year that we're going to experience. And It's very interesting when you listen to the different people. They talk about all the challenges, but also the great successes and all the new things that's going to be happening this year. So I'm going to share some of those with you. But before I begin, I want to emphasize this entire week there are a lot of activities that are planned. The committee did an excellent job in pulling things together. So I'm going to ask all of you to please take advantage of that and take advantage of the things that people put together. But we hope that you had a great summer. Those of you who took cruises around the world, and some of you who are laying on the beach in the Caribbean, and those of you who went to Alaska for some of the cruises, and unfortunately they didn't take me along. So. But I'm going to have a break sometime soon. But as we embark on a new term, I'd like to offer a message to everyone. And it's really the new theme. You'll see it in all our context. Explore the great opportunities for growth. If you remember, a couple of years ago, we talked about exploring the possibilities. But people said, okay, after you explore the possibilities, what then? So we've taken that concept and moved it to the next level in terms of exploring the great opportunities for growth and give everybody an opportunity to excel by providing quality instruction and quality services through innovation and technology, and utilizing the great faculty and the dedicated staff that we have here at Thomas Nelson. And with all that, after they've explored, after they've excelled, they will actually succeed in whatever goal or accomplishment that they really go after. And it's demonstrated through excellence in all we do. So we're going to explore, excel, and succeed. And those are the words that truly reflect the college's commitment and the college's branding statement and those here at this institution. This is a very exciting time, very exciting. Our theme today is a brand new day, emphasizing the word brand. We're going to strategically position the college, and I couldn't resist, to boldly go. They scratched it out of my script every single time. We're going to continue to boldly go, and I'll leave that. But it's important for us to keep in mind that we are uniquely positioned. Tom Long mentioned it. We are uniquely positioned to really take this institution to a higher level than we've even imagined. Our commitment becomes familiar with Thomas Nelson Community College will be better positioned, which will be positively impacted our continuing efforts in sustaining growth. The bottom line is that the strong brand generates excitement, it generates excellence, it generates a knowledge that we as a community can go anywhere if they really have Thomas Nelson in the forefront. Knowledgeable faculty, supportive staff, successful students, distinguished faculty, committed stakeholders, individuals who really put their time and energy to make us a great institution. You've seen logos on the TVs, you've heard them on the radio. How many of you have seen the bus with Thomas Nelson logo? Haven't seen it yet? A couple of hands? Very good. It's almost like a church. No one in the front, everyone in the back. That's okay. We have a contemporary look of the logo. And the contemporary look is to emphasize Thomas Nelson. We've gone to an age of innovation and technology, and we want everyone to get that feeling not only throughout the community, but here on campus as well. Please use the new logo. We ask you to use it in your mailings, your advertisement, and all of your pieces, any communications material. The Office of Public Relations, Marketing, and Special Events will be working with all the departments and each and every one of you to roll out this new logo. The college has come a long way. In the last 12 months, we've had a number of challenges, and we really want to emphasize a couple of things as is mentioned. Some of the emphasis, Dateline 2009, we really had some of the challenges in meeting some of those goals, and we're still going to address them. The competitive environment, you've seen some advertisements from other institutions that start with a T. I won't mention their name. But we have the universities as well, and we have a number of institutions around us that are also trying to get our students and get the community to go there instead of Thomas Nelson. So this branding is going to really push us into the forefront, and we're putting more emphasis on marketing and getting the word out of all the great things we're doing. Some of the other challenges last year, the ever-changing needs of our stakeholders, our students, wanting to be more flexible, offerings at times and days that are different than what we may have experienced in the past, our enrollment rates and our retention rates, persistent rates, some of the challenges last year, the technology infrastructure, I keep mentioning this word, PeopleSoft, but we're getting better at it. And you may not know it in front, but behind the scenes, this last time when we did the enrollment calculations, we counseled fewer students than we've done during the fall semester. And again, people working behind the scenes, cleaning up the PeopleSoft issues. We still have some challenges, I'm not going to deny that, but we're making great progress. The process of procedure changes to deliver quality instruction and services, we're going through the process. And also one of the challenges last year as well is the college climate survey. And two important questions as we look through all the challenges. Is it in the best interest of our students and is it the best interest of the college? And so I made a commitment when I made the presentation to the board and also to the college council that I would talk briefly about the college climate survey. It emphasizes that we do have some challenges and we don't want to make light of it or pass it over. Currently we have about 762 employees, and at the time of the survey, 717 were surveyed. We didn't have 762 totally employed, but we had 717, and 308, approximately 43%, responded to the survey. Keep in mind, in terms of a perspective, our 717 employees, 24% of those employees reported low morale. And based on the survey of all those who responded, 308, 56 presented low morale as an issue, and also 54% indicated trust, and were the top challenges. In an effort to address these concerns, again, we have a number of strategic initiatives, and what we're going to do is charge the college council to convene a task force to address the morale issue and identify some specific strategies to address for improvement. But I want to make sure that everybody understands, and I've said this in every presentation, what you say to the students and to each other is very critical. It's as I said in one presentation, as Muhammad Ali stated, how do people know you were the greatest? His comment was, I figured if I said it enough, people would start to believe it. If you keep saying as an institution that morale is low, people will start to believe it wholeheartedly. And it's critical as an institution, whether we had 24% of our entire population or whether we had 5% or just 1%. As a family, we take those issues seriously. But if you keep emphasizing it, it will eventually become more of a reality, and that 24% will turn into 48%. That 48% will then turn into 70%. That 70% will turn into 90%. So, as different individuals mentioned, as a family, we need to work on it collectively, so that 24% will eventually get down to 14%, to 10%, to 5%, to 1%, and hopefully as an institution our size, with nearly 760 employees, it'll get down to 0. But we have some challenges, as I mentioned, and with that, we have some strategic achievements, significant achievements nonetheless. And when you have significant achievements, you need to highlight those and really celebrate those. And the first one, I'm going outside of the script, but we have faculty and staff achievements. And you get to a point where you really feel like bouncing because we don't get a chance to really highlight all the great things that Okay. They said they had a couple of surprises for me, so that was good. Okay. in the booth. Faculty and staff accomplishments. Again, it is exciting. I'm not going to use that word, but it's exciting to keep in mind out of all the challenges that we heard about, the things that we're working on, it's important to note, and I think somebody had mentioned, Tom Long had mentioned, when you look at successes, it's glacial. But I need to take the time as an institution, all the things that we were dealing with the PeopleSoft issue, the audit issues, the SACS accreditation, and going through all of that. We had a number of great things that took place here at Thomas Nelson, and we need to keep in mind that with all the times that people work 12 hours, 14 hours behind the scenes, faculty dealing with students coming in and out of the classroom, all the different challenges, we had a number of great things. And students are still coming. The community is still coming. Business and industry is still asking for Thomas Nelson to help this peninsula grow because we've had great faculty and staff, great accomplishments. We had the SACS accreditation. I'm going to pause here and ask you to give all of yourselves a round of applause for making that happen. Even through all the challenges, we had new programs, we had new educational partnerships, historical Triangle campus. We're only successful as our most important resource, our valued resources that are the people. But again, you'll see some of the accomplishments, and I'll read through some of them. As an institution, the Katrina Relief Fund, the Red Cross Blood Drive, Hampton Roads Campus Open House, the Historic Triangle Open House. We had the Great Awards Bank where a number of people received awards where they did a number of things nationally, regionally. The President's Award for Excellence, Black History Month celebration, the BCCS Chancellor Awards, the GNCC Digital Arts Film Festival, the Core Ensemble, the International Honor Society Honors Program. We had the branding campaign. A number of people were involved in the branding campaign. And if you could sit in a room and see how people really pushed for the different grants that they were sponsoring, a number of great things throughout this entire semester. And it would really take me days to really go through all the great things that took place this last year. It would really take me days. The board, we had a board retreat last week, and in a matter of 5 minutes, they came up with pages upon pages of great things about Thomas Nelson. Pages upon pages. And they are the individuals who are out in the community. I would say, in going through the SACS accreditation, as I mentioned, new offerings. I want to pause on the existing guarantee admission agreement. When we're working with College of William & Mary, where we have 15 students in a pilot program, they're eligible to really participate at the College of William & Mary, and they're concurrently enrolled. We also have the ODU concurrent enrollment program. And we also have a number of agreements that we've expanded with Norfolk State, ODU, VCU, the University of Virginia, Virginia Tech, etc. This year, and I'm hesitant to do this, but we should feel very good, very proud of all that we've accomplished in working with the legislation. We took a number of students, faculty, and staff to Richmond this last year, and we received an overwhelming support from our legislators, our recent legislators. And I really feel like bouncing at this point in time. Thank you very much. The Historic Triangle Campus, you know we were trying to get money for it, $8.5 million. We had a shortfall. We thought we were only going to get 5.5. We wound up getting the entire 8.5 that we needed. And they threw in a little something on the side, $125,000 for wetland mitigation, where we would have had to come up with our own funds. Also, in addition, everyone realized about Hampton 3, we've been paying more money and more money over the years in terms of leasing. We now received enough money to purchase the building, not only to purchase it, but received enough money to actually renovate the building as well. But that's not all. We received an additional $4.1 million to post-ISS project for renovations on the Hampton campus. Plus, you've seen a lot of the windows and doors going around campus. We received an additional nearly another $1 million to finish that process. So all those things are happening here on the campus. The next one, some of the strategic initiatives. What are we going to do this coming year in terms of some of the initiatives? We have a steady growth of students coming in. Last year we had nearly 1,000 additional students, even though the enrollment numbers were up. Our FT in terms of getting paid, and I'll get into that a little bit later, is something that we still have to work on. But the last numbers, and I think Dr. Richmond will probably mention it today, our FTE enrollment seems to be going quite well, and I'll let her share that with you. But as was mentioned, some of the following strategic initiatives, as was mentioned in terms of our leadership, stabilizing our leadership. So we do have the opportunity to present to you our new leadership executive team, and I'm going to pause and ask you to bring the lights up just a little. They knew I was going to say that. Thank you. We have Dr. Deborah Fontaine, Special Assistant to the President for Institutional Effectiveness. He came on last year as the Executive Vice President, Dr. Robert Baldigo. We now have a Permanent Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Richard Fleming. Vice President for Institutional Advancement, Dr. Cindy Calloway. Continuing to join us, we have Deborah Wright, Dr. Deborah Wright, Vice President for Workforce Development. Continuing in the interim role of Vice President for Information Technology, Mr. Roy Bernard. And he went into retirement for a short period of time, but we asked him to come back to help us with some strategic initiatives and work with the Historic Triangle campus. Rob Elsass, the Historic Triangle campus. We have Dr. Vicki Richmond, Interim Vice President of Student Affairs, still with us for almost another month. Dr. Richmond. And unfortunately, she's not here to join us today, but Dr. Beverly Walker-Graffier is the new Permanent Vice President for Student Affairs, and she's expected to begin September 5th. And I want to thank also all those interims that we've had this last year. One of the challenges, we had a number of people in interim roles, and they really helped us move through this entire year. So I want to personally thank them for all their hard work in keeping this institution moving forward. But let me pause here. You can keep the lights up. One of the things that we sometimes tend to forget, and I know people had mentioned, but I don't necessarily just want the faculty to mold the vice president. I want all the faculty and staff to mold the vice president. And to continue to mold me as president. And that's real critical. Sometimes when we are bringing in new people, some institutions tend to forget those individuals who really came before them. And I want to pause in this session to emphasize we've had a number of people leave the institutions through retirement, taking new jobs, and that's why we take the time to have a retirees luncheon. And it's an annual event to really recognize and appreciate those individuals who are here before us. But also at the same time, I think it's really important for those of you who've been here for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 30 years, we're asking you, and I'm asking you as president, to please take the time to help the new individuals, the new faculty, the new staff, the new vice presidents, the new administrators to help us grow. Because I truly appreciate your experiences, your background, and your knowledge. I think sometimes we forget to say thank you to those individuals who've been here to help us move forward. And so I'm here today to pause say thank you and how much we really appreciate all the hard work, drive, and determination. Because some of you, if people thought this last year was a difficult year, talk to some of those individuals when the state basically was at a point there were no raises for years. Talk to those individuals who were here when there was no air conditioning in some of the buildings. Talk to some individuals when, and we still have some bits and pieces of it, where there was mold coming down the sides of the walls in your offices. We need to take the time to talk to individuals when some of the sidewalks were just mud. We need to take the time, and so I emphasize that as an institution, we're still growing. But we need to take the time to really reach back and ask those individuals who've been here so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel, so we don't have to make the same mistakes. And so I want you to know, as president, I appreciate all that you've done. I appreciate all those who have been here who really have struggled through the years to make this institution a great institution, and it is a great institution because of the individuals in this room. And I wanted to pause to say that to you because the only way we can move forward is that if we have everybody involved. Not just the new, not those who've been here a couple of years, but those who've been here for 30, 20, 25, 15, 5, even 2 or 3 years. So that's important. I wanted to pause and say that. Did everybody hear what I said? Very good. Okay, now you can bring the lights back down. Perfect. Some of the strategic initiatives, Dateline 2009. One of the Dateline 2009 initiatives is enrollment. Again, our funding is based on enrollment, and so we need to look at the enrollment figures that we had in the past, the national enrollment projections, and also looking at the current public and private projections. But it's real critical that we look at the Dateline 2000. They're looking at 16,000 new students by 2009. Thomas Nelson, we've had our enrollment growth in terms of numbers, but we need to work on FTE. And so the following slide, there's a tremendous growth in headcount, as I mentioned. Last year we were at 12,300. We ended about 13,120 students, the highest enrollment in our history. FTE declined a little, but we're planning on making that up this year. But the college funding is based on FTE, enrollment growth. It's a new funding formula. We need to keep that in mind as we move forward. We're not just concentrating on enrollment, but we're also concentrating on the new programs, quality services, responding to the needs, flexible schedules. Recruitment is a college-wide initiative, but we have some things that we're doing under the recruitment area and also the enrollment area. The dual enrollment has shown tremendous growth over the last 2 years. We've had retention, persistence, critical to our recruitment efforts and our enrollment efforts. If we keep 10, 20% of individuals moving from the spring to the fall, our enrollment would explode. According to the VCCS, our student retention rate from the fall to the spring, from last fall to the spring of 06, is about 60%, 60.7%, nearly 61%. We're trying to get to 70 to 71%, if not higher. And again, you hear people talking about retention rate and persistence rates. Unfortunately, the state, when they talk about retention, they only look at full-time students, first-time, full-time students. And the majority of our students are part-time. So if we can concentrate on that small number, in addition to our part-time students, our retention rate would jump up. Distance learning, for those of you who participated in the summer camp for distance learning, they had a great time. They had an excellent time, and we had a number of individuals working to make that happen. This was the commitment of the college and the commitment of the administration that not only were we going to emphasize distance learning but we're going to provide the tools necessary, the training necessary to make it happen. Historic Triangle Campus, we're going to continue our efforts to increase enrollment, increase resources, offer classes on higher faculty. This year, we're hoping to break ground in the spring of '07. Hoping to break ground in the spring of '07. You should feel good about that. The Historic Triangle Campus has been on the books for 10, 12, 15 years. A number of people have been working on it for years and years. The architect is still working with the committee here on campus. We'll try to keep that information for you and also in front of you. And this last year in the spring is the time that we will start looking at funding, faculty, resources, materials for the Historic Triangle Campus that we hope to open sometime in the year of 2008, probably in the fall of 2008, if we can open it up, but have the groundbreaking in '07 this spring. Now I'm pausing on this one because investing in our most important resources, our employees, and you've heard me say it before. Okay? That's okay. Well, good. Okay, she's trying to keep up with me because I'm changing the script every now and then. I've said and made a commitment to you as president when I first came here, before I came here, that my concern is that we had low salaries for faculty and staff here. My commitment since coming here in '04 is that we were going to make every effort to keep that a high priority for this institution. And this year, even though we had a very, very tight budget, we made the commitment to have an equity in-band adjustment. And the equity in-band adjustments, for those of you who were here last year, you will note that we had a group listing, and some of you are aware of it. We had Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. We started it in '04, and fortunately, we were able to end in '05 because of the funds. And we were able to do it instead of a 2-year program, which is what we initially planned for. We were able to accomplish it within a year. But also to address the salaries, we're going to continue the in-band adjustment for this coming year. And we're going to reverse the grouping. And the grouping is going to be, instead of Group 1, 2, and 3, it's going to be Group 3, 2, 1. It's just going to be reversed. And our commitment in the in-band adjustments is by individuals, so it'll be from 0% to 10%. And how we're going to do it, you'll see the date up there in November the 10th. And people say, why did you select November 10th? We're trying to get what we would call the best something for your money, or best
Bang for the buck.
Biggest bang for your buck.
Best bang for your buck. And I'll give you an example. For those individuals who are way below and they're eligible for a 10% increase, on November 10th, we will make the adjustments for those individuals. And like I said, it'd be each individual for each individual group, and it varies from, like I said, 0 to 10%. But if a person is getting a 10% on November 10th, it becomes a part of their base. And then when the state average kicks in, which is about 4% for classified staff, that is 4% on top of that already in-band adjustment. So the individuals will get more bang for your buck. But it's our commitment to continue the classified staff, and this is just for classified staff. If people are wondering why I'm not on that list, that's what we can do for classified staff, because the state mandates legislatively that the average for classified staff is approximately 4%. Well, at Thomas Nelson, we're hoping to do more. But you'll see it's a 2-year plan again. And again, it goes until the next fiscal year, this fiscal year and the next fiscal year. That's what we call a 2-year plan. It's a 2-year financial plan. But my commitment is if we get the dollars to make it sooner, we will make it sooner so that the in-band adjustments will go to all three groups. The next area, again, investing in our most important resource, our staff here in our faculty. Faculty averages, last year we were able to go as high as 8%. This year the state board set the high average of 6.19%. Even though we were given, and Dr. Baldigo is going to correct me, I'm sure, even though we were given as an as a state system 4%, I believe, is that correct? 4%. The state board said if you can find your own institutional dollars, if you make that commitment, you can raise it as high as 6.19%. Again, my commitment now, and the administrative commitment here, is to find the dollars to make our faculty salaries as high as we possibly can. And so we found the dollars to bring our faculty salaries increases to the state maximum, which is 6.19%. The faculty, administrative faculty salaries, the administrators, unfortunately, we wish we could have done more, but we're in a catch-22 situation here. Our faculty salaries a couple of years ago have been so low. We have a state mandate called the 135% rule, where the administrative faculty averages cannot be any higher than 135% in terms of the faculty average. Therefore, unfortunately, we can only go as high as 5.77% for the administrative faculty. But as we bring the faculty salaries up and we bring the administrative faculties up, we'll be able to increase not only the 6.19% and not only the 5.77%, but we'll be able to increase that even more so. Any thoughts? Any questions? I'll get to those in a minute. But for the vision to be a premier institution, that's our vision, to be a premier comprehensive community college that is recognized nationally and internationally. Our vision is to be an institution that people will look to, but our growth strategies is to think globally, support innovation, execute timely and effective strategies, be proactive, and promote creativity. Thinking globally, one might work for Thomas Nelson. What might one work? Okay, I'm going off the script here. I'll just say it this way. What may work for some institutions globally may not work for Thomas Nelson. We need to start finding our niche. What are we good at? If I ask 80 people in this room, what are the top 5 things that we're good at, I'll probably get maybe 70 or 60 different answers. We need to be able to tell the story. When we're marketing and branding and telling people to explore, excel, succeed, we need to tell them what are we good at. We can't be all things to all people. We don't have the resources. We don't have the dollars or the human capital. But we need to say, what are we good at? We need to be comprehensive, but be able to say, we are great at these 10 things, we're great at these 5 things. We need to be able to tell the story, and that's what we're talking about in terms of strategically positioning ourselves. We need to look at thinking differently and globally and be flexible in adapting to change. As the internet becomes increasingly used as the mode for communication, global information comes within a touch. We need to support innovation, and you'll be hearing a little bit about that today. You'll see that we now have on campus wireless technology for students sitting in the quads, students sitting in the cafeteria. In Templeton Hall here, we have wireless technology. Support innovation. I'll give one example that comes to mind. Procter & Gamble, back in 1837, began with one single product. 7 years later, P&G is one of the most innovative companies in the world. They have over 102 brands and 1,000 products. We need to be timely. We need to be very flexible. Effective growth strategy requires timely execution. Lastly, we need to be proactive and promote creativity. Again, going back to those individuals who've been here for years, some people say we've tried it that way and it didn't work. Well, maybe at that point in time, the resources weren't there to make it happen. So, as we move through, as I come to a close, don't applaud. As I come to a close, I'm going to highlight the brand again in terms of explore. We must be able to explore the opportunities and adapt to change. We must respond to growth, excel. As an organization, we need long-term performers, innovative thinkers, and institutional builders. And to succeed, to ensure that the forward direction of the organization growth strategies must be in place. Strategic planning is essential to the success. To ensure the forward direction of the organization's strategies must be emphasized. Strategic planning is essential to the success of the college. We need to seize the opportunity to bring vitality to the academic programs, be more innovative in academic development, more potential for opportunities for our students. And again, with all the things that are happening, all the people who worked over the summer, and all the individuals who came back and helped us this last summer, we had a lot of great things happening. And I want to keep emphasizing that. We had a number of great things. Emphasizing we have a lot of challenges, emphasizing we have great accomplishments, emphasizing we have strategic plans to deal with the challenges. But more importantly, you should feel like you want to start bouncing. And that's critical. You really should feel that you want to start bouncing and start creating an opportunity for the students and the community. Okay. I thought I was going to get away with that last one. You in this room, you need to understand you made it happen. People are talking about Thomas Nelson because of the individuals in this room. We have new administrators coming in. We have new faculty coming in. We have new staff coming in. Help them learn the culture of Thomas Nelson. It's a great culture. We will be celebrating 40 years in another 2 years, in the year 2008. And hopefully it will coincide when we open up the doors at the new historic Triangle campus. But with the historic Triangle campus coming online, we're doing some great things here at the Hampton campus. Again, purchasing Hampton 3, renovating some of the old buildings, the construction that we're dying to take place in the Hastings building. A lot of great things are happening on this campus and at the historic Triangle campus. Distance education is taking off. We are offering more distance education classes. Great things are happening. And I'll give you a couple of small examples, and then I'll bring, because I get excited when I'm talking to individuals about Thomas Nelson. For instance, people have heard me. I've been sometimes harsh. I sometimes have been critical. Sometimes I've pushed hard. But as president, sometimes I have to do that. But at the same time, I have to give thanks and recognize individuals for the great accomplishments. And I'll give you a couple of prime examples behind the scenes that I'm very proud of, that people are not even aware of. You've heard me talk about some of the things, and people and students have said areas we need to work on in terms of financial aid. Well, the financial aid office, we put resources there. One of our strategic plans is if there's areas that need improvement, we'll put the strategic resources there, the human capital there. We've added additional staff there, and this year, I'm very proud of the accomplishments of the financial aid office. We sent out award letters to students I think it was 1,500, 1,800, and they're sending out more. When students applied for financial aid here, as it was told to me, we didn't send out award letters to students. And most people didn't realize, unless they got it in hand, that they received an award of financial aid. Well, this year, with the staff and the dedication in the financial aid office, they sent out award letters. But they took it a step further. They sent out notices to students saying, you filled out your financial aid packet. These are the things you still have to do to finalize your packet. And you'll be amazed how much goodwill that took place when parents and students received that letter in the mail and said, you know, you cared enough about me to tell me I needed a signature, or I needed an additional sheet of paper, or I need a parent letter of support. A lot of goodwill